what were you expecting before you met us, and you'd heard about Dennis and I and what we were willing to do, come alongside you guys in your marital counseling?
I think that coming into this, I was expecting just like a lot of wisdom and just seeing what you guys had walked through. It really just aligned with what we needed for that season, and we did get so much wisdom. And
as far as like knowing you guys a little bit beforehand, just seeing a lot of intimacy between you guys as a couple, just having you in the church community at East County. And I knew that when we had gotten married, that was something that we wanted to kind of like set as an example for our own marriage. And there was also like it was so clear that you guys had really made room for the Spirit of God to just be the kind of like the binding agent as you guys as a couple. And so, you know, getting started without premarital counseling and like looking into just the future of our marriage, those were like the two things that I was like, okay, this is what I want to take away from our time with them, and it happened. It's real.
Yeah.
There was a lot of emphasis on emotional healing and the power of forgiveness. And so those two things together, I think, were a huge highlight, because when you get married, there's this like immense like vulnerability kind of with your spouse. And there's things that come up when you're talking about your life, when you talk about your past, things that, you know, maybe like the bruises that you've had throughout your life, or maybe things that you've gone through that affect your relationship together, you know, hang-ups and hurts, you know, that maybe hinder you on your walk together. So being able to talk to people that had gone through a lot and had come out the other end and overcame it was like invaluable. It was invaluable, and we needed it, because just that time period of really getting to know each other is kind of what we needed at the time in that season. Yeah. What would you say?
Yeah, I think there, like coming into this, we we're really excited just to learn about what you guys had gone through. I think too that we learned kind of the depths of honor and just really like honoring each other and some of the things that you guys had walked through. And those are really impactful to us. And there's all kinds of tips and tricks that we learn, like for communication or you know, because you guys had gone through so many different circumstances that you were able to tell us, when this happens, here's what we do. And
direction.
It made a really amazing template for us to build our foundation for our marriage with God. And it was great. Yeah,
the communication thing was huge too, because like even just speaking from my own experience, maybe this would be helpful to somebody else. Like, I hadn't seen a healthy marriage. Like, I am from a family that my parents are divorced. So, like, how do I communicate respectfully with my spouse? How do I approach conflict in a way that still honors him as a husband, and vice versa? You know, how can he honor me as a wife? And how do you deal with the things that get caught up, like emotions, you know, in that mix, and difficult circumstances with maybe family members or friendships that you walk through as a couple, as a married couple together. How do you stay in communication? How do you honor and respect each other? So being able to like review instances that had happened in our week, and then have someone say, you know, just give us words of wisdom and words of guidance was really helpful. Kind of what you were saying about just being able to communicate better.
Good. And what about dying to self?
You guys helped us walk through that, because that, they say like the term dying to self, but you guys really helped us kind of flesh out like
Right.
there's multiple areas where you have to consider that. And
I think as far as like watching another couple do that, what dying to self looked like was really understanding how unity's really played out. Because if you go into marriage with this idea, you know, that it's going to be you and me separately, right? And there's nothing I'm going to have to really sacrifice. You know, there's nothing I'm going to really have to sacrifice to keep that connection, that unified connection. You know, that's not the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And so watching you guys and your ability to foster that unity, and in order to keep that top priority, you're going to have to let go of things inside of you that maybe you would have wanted, or putting him first to stay unified. It's huge. It's probably one of the most foundational things that we learned.
That's so good. And then I think one more thing that I wanted to just maybe point to is like, what does a commitment look like? A covenant or a contract?
What is a contract?
Well, yeah, I think a lot of marriage just in the world is it's a contract. It says, I'm married to you, you don't do this, I don't do this, I get to do this, you get to do this, and it's just like
conditional.
It's really like it's written out on paper, and if you break it, it's over. Or like with contracts, they're designed to be broken or have loopholes or whatever it may be, because it's in the world and it's very finite. Whereas with covenant, which is what we learned a lot about, and what a lot of this was about, is it's more than that. It's
unconditional.
It's unconditional, but there's even more to that.
It's this principle that you move towards each other no matter what, and that it becomes so much more less about you know, you stay in your lane and I stay in my lane, and we're both protecting our own individual lanes. A covenant says that no matter what, I'm in this for you. I'm in this for you, and no matter what, you're in this for me. And that's like completely unconventional. Nobody does that, you know. At least like not in worldly circumstances. That's unheard of. It's your money and it's my money. You know, it's your space and it's my space. And there's never a point where you're able to look at each other and say like, this is ours. Like this is you and me in this together. You know, till death. And that changes things. That changes your whole dynamic of how you look at the other person, what they mean to you.
What about God? Where's he at in the middle of this?
He's the glue.
Yes.
But it's a glue that's not from this world. And the more of it that you start to allow in, the stronger the bond.
Right. Because, you know, without that, what else is the glue? I mean, your like romantic life, you know, the money that you have together, like what else binds you together, like the Holy Spirit? What else can do that other than Jesus? It's the most intimate part of us as people. And so being able to share this, like the closest thing to our heart, like our salvation, like being able to share that, to draw from that same strength, to draw from that same truth. You know, there's really is truth to that. Nothing can break that cord of 3 strands. You know, you can't. Right? It's true. Right?
And speak life, not death. Speak life, right? Speak life over each other, over your future.
Yes.
Yeah. Build each other up. No tearing down.
Yeah.
All these little principles that, you know, the world will tend to fall into. But yeah, so thank you for sharing. We appreciate your vulnerability and willingness to just allow us to be into your life and allow us to pour into your lives and to come alongside you guys. So you are a blessing.
No, it's all true for you guys as well. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.